As you take a live look right now at the Jupiter Inlet on this Friday afternoon, nearly all beaches in Palm Beach and Martin counties are back open after being closed for almost the entire week because of red tide. But you might see these new signs warning you of the possible effects. Midtown Beach on Palm Beach remains closed right now. You'll remember it was last Saturday when beaches began closing after people got sick. Palm Beach County Parks and Rec staff plan to continue to monitor conditions all week long. St. Lucie County beaches, we want to let you know, remain open right now. And while some people are anxious to get back and enjoy the sun and near all the ocean activities, others are a little cautious this afternoon. The Now's Jillian Idle is live at Juno Beach with what some locals are doing today before feeling comfortable swimming in the Atlantic again. Jillian.
And now we've been out here since this morning. We've seen a few people come and go, but we did run into a couple guys from the area that are determined to aid in red tide recovery efforts any way they can, and for them that means combing this beach for marine life. Now, Jim Tolliver and William Kimball spent the day at their neighborhood sanctuary. For them, that's the beach here in Juneau. Instead of enjoying the water and sand, they're looking for dead fish to report to the FWC Dead Fish Tip Line. Now, the pair, also avid surfers, were out here wanting to get a closer look at red tide conditions. Unfortunately for them, they say it's going to be a little longer until they get back in the water, and they aren't alone.
You're seeing effects. I mean, luckily no big game fish, snook or tarpon or even sharks have been seen, which is, thank God, but any loss of life is a loss, and that's horrible.
Being here for maybe a half hour, I'm feeling it. It's really bad. I don't know how anybody could come sit on the beach. Yeah. And I watch some of these people that are coming here. I don't know how they do it.
Now, people I spoke with today out here are still reporting feeling upper respiratory symptoms along with headaches. Now, the beaches are back reopened, but county officials are saying it is right now. Swim at your own risk. Reporting live in Juno Beach, Jillian Idle for The Now, South Florida.
That onshore wind continuing, but it's come down quite a bit since yesterday. 13 miles per hour. It's nowhere near as windy as yesterday, and I think tomorrow more of the same. It's not going to be quite as windy, but it's still going to be onshore here. The wind will pick back up, though, late Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What we had fill in is more of a swell. That's from Leslie way out there, and you can see the lines here coming out of Jupiter Inlet coming on in and breaking. Notice the wind not that bad, but the swell line's pretty big as they move on in, and that made it down to about Palm Beach a little bit earlier. Do have a couple of batches of showers offshore, but a lot of dry air is filtered on in, so rain chance is going to remain very slim here going into the evening hours. Just a very slight chance for a shower. Otherwise, mainly clear with temperatures generally into the lower 80s, and we'll cool down into the mid 70s for tomorrow morning. It'll be a very pleasant start to the morning. 76 in West Palm, 72 in Vero Beach. Forecast for tomorrow, upper 80s for all, 89 in West Palm, 89 in Boca, but it'll feel like the 90s out there with the humidity, and I think we'll see a lot of sunshine.
James, thank you. All new this afternoon, we are now learning the name of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputy who investigators say shot a man this week. PBSO confirming Keith Vitti opened fire on Lorenzo Fernell Williams. This was in Riviera Beach on Wednesday. Detectives say when they showed up to a home along West 27th Street in Riviera Beach, Williams and another man jumped out of the window with a gun in their hand. Investigators say Williams pointed his gun at the deputy who shot him. Williams is expected to survive, and he is facing multiple charges. Deputy Vitti has been with PBSO since 2004. New at 4 o'clock, an Indian River County 15-year-old student is accused of bringing a gun to school. Deputies say the teen brought that weapon to the Freshman Learning Center. This was yesterday. Investigators say they got a tip about a photo that existed showing the teen holding that gun on a school bus, as well as video of him with the gun on campus. Detectives say that the gun had been stolen from the home of the boy's grandmother. He is now facing multiple charges this afternoon.
President Trump's Supreme Court pick could be confirmed by this time tomorrow, but still a final fight happening in Washington from both parties to either derail or confirm Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. The Now's Corey Rangel with today's developments.
Brett Kavanaugh will find out this weekend if he will be the next Supreme Court justice. Last-minute efforts are underway on both sides to sway other key senators ahead of the final vote. Protests at the Capitol continued by those against Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh himself made a final plea in an op-ed published in the Wall Street Journal, admitting he might have been too emotional at his hearing last week, adding, "I said a few things I should not have said."
Revenge on behalf of the Clintons.
So you're saying there's never been a case where you drank so much that you didn't remember what happened the night before or part of what happened?
You're asking about, blackout. I don't know. Have you?
But in the op-ed, Kavanaugh insists he is an independent and impartial judge.
I think that he is scared that he might not have the votes, and this is his last-ditch campaign to get swing senators.
Experts say today's vote to advance Kavanaugh's final vote to the full Senate provides a preview of what could happen this weekend.
It suggests that Kavanaugh is likely to be confirmed. It is possible that a senator could vote to move forward procedurally, but then be opposed when the actual vote occurs, but not wildly likely.
For the Now, I'm Corey Rangel.
New at 4 o'clock, a former Boca Raton teacher accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old relative will head to Canada to face charges. This is according to our news partners at the Palm Beach Post. Owen Headley agreed not to fight attempts to extradite him. He claims the victim and the mother orchestrated this entire thing. After the district learned about the investigation last year, it fired Headley from his teaching position at Hammock Point Elementary School. New information about a threat against students at Seminole Ridge High School in Loxahatchee. According to our partners at the Palm Beach Post, a 17-year-old who attends Palm Beach Central High School was arrested after he threatened to shoot a group of students on Snapchat. The sheriff's office says that the teen blamed them for his failed attempts to convince a girl to date him. The teen attended Seminole Ridge as a freshman. Tomorrow marks 1 month until the November general election, and more than 2.7 million Florida voters have requested mail-in ballots. Now, that number surpasses the total number of ballots requested in the 2014 midterm election. The deadline to request a vote-by-mail ballot is no later than 5 p.m. It's coming up October 31st. The ballot must be into the Supervisors of Elections office by 7 p.m. on November 6th.
Let's get to the Now news feed. Some important stories here in a short amount of time. And Tennessee authorities, they say they have captured a double murder suspect, Kirby Wallace. He's accused of attacking a couple, then setting their house on fire. The wife killed, the husband hurt. Police also say he killed a man on Monday and stole his truck. Well, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, of course, very famous, but no longer going to be using the name Mormon. It will now just be known as the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints no longer wants to use the shorthand names of the faith. Soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo will play in Italy this weekend. He has been accused of rape here in the United States. A woman filing suit last week saying Ronaldo raped her in Las Vegas in 2009. Police have reopened their investigation, Ronaldo denying those charges. New numbers out today showing the unemployment rate is now at 3.7%. Put that into perspective, that is the lowest it has been since December 1969, nearly 50 years ago. So how does then compare to what's happening now? Well, back in 1969, inflation was spiking and the economy was overheating. A short recession followed. Now, could that recession happen now? Well, most economists say most likely not anytime soon. They say our economy is in a different place now than it was then. Obviously, we are off to a very busy start on this Friday afternoon, so let's get to our first check of today's lineup, some of the stories that we're going to be talking about during this show. I just got back from the U.S.-Mexico border near El Paso, Texas. We're going to talk to people there about their perspective on immigration, the wall the government is building right in their own backyard. Very interesting stuff there for you. Also important to hear this because we have a new warning about concert ticket scams. Listen to this one. More than 1 in 10 people get scammed while buying tickets. We're also going to talk about micro brands. Yeah, we're used to buying those from big name brands, but thanks to online shopping, we're buying more from these micro brands. So what's the difference? We're going to be getting into that one as well. And next in our lineup, could McDonald's be the next major company, frankly, publicly shamed into paying workers $15 an hour? We'll break that down. You're watching The Now. Welcome back to The Now. I'm Chris Stewart. Mattress Firm, the largest bed store in the country, filing for bankruptcy today. It says that it is staying in business, but it's starting to close stores. It'll close about 200 underperforming ones right away. It'll make decisions on another 500 locations in the coming weeks. Now, the company has about 3,300 stores in the United States. So what does this mean for you if you have a mattress from them? Well, even though they're going to be in bankruptcy, Mattress Firm says all warranties, guarantees, and customer programs will still be honored. Now, earlier this week, here on The Now, we told you about Amazon's decision to pay all of its employees $15 an hour. The company had come under some criticism from many people, but most notably Senator Bernie Sanders. Well, Senator Sanders now turning his sights to McDonald's. The Now's Chris Welch looking into this tactic if it's working.
Bernie Sanders is at it again. First, it was Amazon publicly calling out CEO Jeff Bezos for not paying workers enough, even introducing a bill called the, quote, Stop Bezos Act. But when Bezos announced they'd now pay their workers $15 an hour, he praised them. Well, now he's got his sights set on the golden arches.
How many weeks of paid vacation do you get?
None.
He's gone after McDonald's on his YouTube channel before, but is now swinging even harder, writing in a letter to CEO Steve Easterbrook asking them to pay $15 an hour and pleading to allow McDonald's employees to join a union, saying, quote, it would set an example for the entire fast food industry to follow.
McDonald's has the money to pay us a living wage.
Sanders and McDonald's workers have also criticized the company for encouraging employees to sign up for taxpayer-funded government benefits while the company is paying them low wages.
Mr. Easterbrook makes $9,200 an hour. It would take me 3 years to make what he makes in an 8-hour day.
McDonald's responded to Sanders' critiques by pointing to their employee benefits programs and saying they're providing $150 million in tuition assistance to employees over 5 years. But is Sanders' hardline tactic working?
I think it was clearly effective with Amazon.
Paul Son with the National Employment Law Project says Sanders' critiques combined with worker-led movements are making a difference.
Senator Sanders is really asking the right question: why major corporations in America that are that profitable can't do better by their workers.
Reporting for The Now, I'm Chris Welch.
All right, Chris, thank you. And when you're on Facebook, it's really common to just see political views that you support. The social network could be trying to change that. A patent from Facebook just made public showing how it could help you get out of those political echo chambers. Now, the tool could detect that political content in its newsfeed that you express interest in, like an article relating to a presidential candidate's position on gun control. Then you may be automatically presented with a list of all other candidates' positions on gun control. Now, we don't know when or if Facebook will actually make this a reality.
All right, happy Friday. Look at Jupiter right now, looking beautiful as always here. We're seeing beautiful Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse there, and nice blue sky around too. We do have a couple of showers offshore. The Treasure Coast had one line up in Brevard County this morning that dumped about 4 or 5 inches of rain in just that small area. We could have a couple of showers blow on shore here. A lot of this will weaken though as it reaches the shore, so most of us will stay rain-free here this Friday evening. So if you have any Friday evening plans, it looks just fine to head outside. Temperatures right now are into the middle 80s. It's warm, it's muggy out there. A couple little showers coming in over the Gulf Stream too in Palm Beach County. But again, a lot of those will shrivel on up before they get here. Temperatures tonight mainly into the lower 80s this evening, so no big temperature drops. We'll be in the mid-70s by tomorrow morning. Coming up, we'll take a look at the tropics at our 2 areas here, Leslie, and a new one brewing in the Caribbean.
A Jacksonville restaurant opening its doors for the first time today since nearly a dozen people were shot during a video game competition. You might remember the story. 3 people died, including the gunman at the Madden football tournament. This was back in August. In a Facebook post, Chicago Pizza thanked the community for its support following this shooting. The game bar inside that restaurant, though, still remains closed right now. If you live in Martin County, you will have a chance to decide if you will pay a half-cent more on everything you buy. This afternoon, we are getting new insight on where that sales tax money would actually go if voters do say yes next month. According to TC Palm, the school board says it would spend more than half of the expected $112 million it's expected to generate on building new schools in Jensen Beach and also Palm City. Now, the rest would pay for security enhancements and helping cut down a nearly $100 million maintenance backlog. Shovels and fresh cement are just the beginning of a new veterinary clinic and adoption center that's going up in Jupiter. A groundbreaking ceremony was held earlier today for the new Furry Friends Adoption Clinic and Ranch. The location is on Capitol Street. The president of the organization says the need for help has never been greater.
We got 4 strays yesterday alone in our shelter, which is unheard of. That's just the amount of needy animals there are right now is just mind-boggling.
The goal of this new facility is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome more animals. All right, ladies, are you feeling lucky on this Friday night? $420 million up for grabs in tonight's Mega Million drawing. I should say, everyone, do you feel lucky? It is the 8th largest Mega Millions jackpot in history. Your chance, though, one in about $302 million. Now, let's put this in perspective for you, because that's more than 2,000 times less likely than being killed by lightning or by an earthquake.
Let's get to the Now newsfeed. Costco's in trouble because the company now paying a $3.85 million penalty to the government. It's over the Consumer Product Safety Commission's claims that the company did not report that they were using trash cans with a defect that increased risk of injury. Some promising news here about aspirin and ovarian cancer. A new study says taking an aspirin a day can lower your risk of the disease. The JAMA study, though, says specifically we're talking about low-dose aspirin. The study does not include regular dose aspirin. Hundreds of thousands of Toyotas being pulled in the U.S., more than 800,000 because of issues with stalling. Yeah, in rare cases, vehicles might fail to enter a fail-safe driving mode, lose power, then stall. Yeah, that's not good. Toyota Prius and the Auris hybrids made from 2008 to 2014 included in this recall. Well, this is one bill a lot of us cannot avoid, even if our car's paid off. Yeah, talking about car insurance. Now, depending on what things are happening, a lot of things really can end up being pricey, but there are a few things that we can control that could help us save. Now, J.D. Power found that it's costing a lot of us about $350 extra a year. It's because we're not comparison shopping. A lot of us haven't checked the price of our policy in about 3 years. Now, there are at least 2 online tools out there that do all the comparison shopping for you. Now, they're on nerdwallet.com and insurance.com. You just need to enter simple information like your age, car information, and driving record. Now, NerdWallet says you can also do other things to lower your monthly payment, like raising your deductible. They estimate that if you raise it from $500 to $1,000, you could save about $200 a year. Now, if you barely use your car, there's different types of insurance that could help you lower your rates. You could get a low mileage discount for driving less than 7,000 miles a year. There are other policies that can save you up to 50% if you drive less than 5,000 miles a year. Some insurers also offer a device that monitors how much you drive. Now, depending on the policy, you could save up to 30% on your monthly bill. All right, next in our lineup, we got a new warning for you, especially as you head into the weekend. Maybe you're going to a show. It is about concert ticket scams. Listen to this. More than 1 in 10 people get scammed while they're buying tickets. We have what to watch for. You're watching The Now. Welcome back, and an important warning here before you shop for concert tickets, because one ticket technology company called Aventus says about 12% of us end up getting scammed. The Now's Andy Taylor has how the government's trying to protect us from becoming a victim.
Chris, the main reason this has become such a problem is because of bots. Yeah, bots. They are buying show tickets in bulk. That means tickets sell out fast and we scramble to find tickets elsewhere, including resale sites, even scalpers. But that's not always the safest idea, of course. And the FTC says that there are a couple of things you can do to protect yourself if you're buying tickets online, like getting in on pre-sales. You can do this through email lists and social media. And if you know a show is going to sell out quick, make your online account before you buy them. That way you can just add to cart and check out ASAP. The FTC is holding a workshop next year about how to protect people from ticket scams. They're still trying to learn more about this whole thing and what else makes this such a big problem.
All right, Annie, thank you. And toddlers, they do pretty much get into everything, and sometimes you just have to laugh about it. This one, though, you might need a really good sense of humor. Look at this. Couple in Utah had saved for about a year to pay for University of Utah football season tickets, and they had more than $1,000 in an envelope on the counter, so they remember to pay their parents back for those tickets, but it vanished. Then they found it in an unexpected place.
She's holding this shredder and she says, "I think the money is in here." We started laughing. We were just baffled that this could happen. And
I
just
cried for a minute. You can't say we just
a
laughed.
few tears and then a bunch of laughs.
Yeah, so it turns out their 2-year-old son put all the money in the shredder. Yeah, they say he used the shredder in the past with their supervision. Now he is grounded from using the shredder, as you can imagine. Good news here, though. There is a government office that deals with shredded cash, so they may actually be able to get it back, but that process, it can take years. Oh boy. All right, a lot more to talk about in our lineup, but we want to prepare you for flu season. Can't really avoid it. Interesting new study out about people getting the flu in big cities compared to more rural areas. Let's get you updated on the big story of the day. What happens next for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh? Today, the Senate voted 51-49 to send his nomination forward. Senators, they can now switch their votes for the final vote. That's expected to happen tomorrow. Republicans need a minimum of 50 senators to vote yes to get Kavanaugh confirmed. Now, today's procedural vote comes a day after all senators got to see the FBI report on sexual assault allegations against Kavanaugh. All right, we do start the newsfeed in this half hour with about how President Trump, he's really been fighting to level the trading field with China, but the Commerce Department saying today that a record number of imports from China, it has driven the trade deficit up again the third straight month in a row. All right, well, the 2018 Nobel Prize for Peace, well, that goes to two people who have worked to end sexual violence being used as a weapon of war. One winner, a gynecologist from Congo, the other a woman held captive by ISIS. The committee said both in their own ways help make sure perpetrators can be held accountable. Well, the Olympics, of course, when they come around, so much excitement, the attention of the world going in on one country. For Japan, though, the 2020 Games, that is also going to bring a very big bill. A Japanese newspaper reporting that the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics will cost the government 7 times more than what they originally thought.
All right, Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse right now with a little breeze blowing, some blue sky out there. Not doing too bad. A couple of showers here just offshore of the Treasure Coast. These could make it onshore here in Indian River County through the evening hours, but a lot of them will start to dry up. You see a couple of them already doing that before they reach the coastline. Another little line trying to form here off the Bahamas, make it into South County, possibly later, but a lot of this will dry up too. Can't rule out a stray shower, though, this evening, but for the most part, the rain chances will be pretty low. And then after 8, 10 o'clock or so, we get rid of them altogether and have a pretty dry night out there. The weekend looks fantastic. Hey, a lot of sunshine on Saturday, highs into the upper 80s on Sunday, too. We'll just introduce a slight rain chance there on Sunday, but for the most part, we're going to look at a lot of sunshine there too. In the tropics, we're looking at this bumped up to 70% chance. We're thinking early next week we could have a tropical system here in the northwestern Caribbean, and it could start to move up into the Gulf of Mexico. The details still very up in the air, so we'll keep an eye on that. The other one here is Tropical Storm Leslie way out there. It's still spinning around, and it's going to stay a tropical storm for a while and actually push a little bit farther down to the south. It will remain, even though a long-lived one, a fish storm out there with nothing to worry about for us.
Miami-Dade reopened public beaches today north of Haulover Inlet, including Haulover Park. This is one day after red tide was detected in that area. State officials say the water should be safe for most people. However, red tide can be harmful to fish, birds, and humans. So officials are urging people with chronic respiratory issues, we're talking about things like asthma, to stay out of the areas affected by red tide. Broward County, and specifically the cities of Deerfield Beach and Fort Lauderdale, are expecting test results sometime later today. Uptown Boca, that's a $200 million development project, broke ground today in West Boca Raton. It will change the look of a 30-acre lot. This is near Highway 441 and Glades Road. It's empty right now. The Now South County reporter Miranda Christian found not everyone in the area, though, is happy about the project that's getting underway.
Construction for Uptown Boca will start tomorrow. Plans include a movie theater, restaurants, and apartments. The lot sits southeast of Glades and 441. The new development is exciting for some people I spoke with, but for others it comes at a cost. It will create more traffic in an already busy area.
Well, there's no way that they can possibly widen the roads. So it's going to be a traffic mess.
I think that a lot of people feel we live in the land of strip malls, and one more strip mall doesn't help.
I did speak with the developer about those traffic concerns. I'll have that story coming up at 6 o'clock. Reporting in West Boca Raton, I'm Miranda Christian for The Now, South Florida.
Florida police searching for a well-dressed man who set a door on fire not once, but twice. A home surveillance camera capturing this on October 1st. A man wearing a blazer approaching the door in a Hollywood neighborhood, and there you see it. He sets the door on fire and takes off running. In the video, he shows up a couple of minutes later and he attempts to set the door on fire again. It is an Airbnb is what we're being told, and no one was there at the time that he set it on fire. President Donald Trump will be in Florida next week. He'll be in Orlando on Monday. He's addressing the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Not expected to campaign for any Republicans, though, during this stop. A Lakeland mom upset this afternoon. She says her 6-year-old son was forced to hitchhike after a school bus dropped him off in the wrong neighborhood. Well, it turns out he was dropped off a mile and a half away from his house. His mom was frantic, searching for him for hours, as you can imagine. A friendly stranger saw this little boy on the side of the road and drove him home. His mom says she is now taking no chances.
Absolutely no more bus. What if a sexual predator would have picked him up or something?
Polk County Public Schools is investigating this situation, and this afternoon they are apologizing for this mix-up. It looks like the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office has a new future deputy. Someone tweeted PBSO, this little guy right here, all dressed up, as you can see. The person who tweeted the adorable picture went on to thank PBSO for their service, and we do thank them every single day. That's a Halloween costume, right? As we're thinking about Halloween right now. I know you still have time to think about next Halloween, but right now I have no ideas for my little one.
Oh my gosh, well there you go. Great police officer outfit.
Stephanie Susskind joining us now with a look at what's coming up today at 5 o'clock.
That's right, really an amazing story of recovery we're going to share with you. A teenager, she's starting to finally regain strength and movement after a very scary soccer injury last weekend. It left her unable to move. Doctors calling it temporary paralysis. So I just spoke with her family friends. She made amazing strides today. We're actually going to show you some of that on video and tell you what the family's going through. They are all certainly fighters.
Looking forward to that story.
Well, look, we can't avoid flu season, but the way flu season hits really depends on where we live. This is according to a new study in the Science Journal. Smaller cities tend to have a shorter flu season, but that doesn't mean it's just a walk in the park. Smaller cities will have a more intense flu season. The flu also tends to spread faster if the city's humid. That's because the virus lingers in the air for a longer time. Now, bigger cities will have a longer season, but at the same time, it's more consistent and frankly predictable. Now, the flu will also stick around longer because of public transportation systems, even though it takes longer for the flu to go away. Experts say bigger cities are better equipped to handle it. Now, if there's people coughing and sneezing around you, you still haven't seen the worst of it. Flu season peaks in the winter and then declines in the spring. Now, regardless of where you live, doctors do still advise that you get the flu shot. And it's not just doctor visits and prescriptions that are pricey here in the United States. Experts are now saying medical devices are also costing us more. Now, that's in comparison to other high-income countries. 6% of what we spend on healthcare goes to medical devices. Take pacemakers, for example. A health affairs study says hospitals spend about 2 to 6 times more on these devices than other countries. Experts attribute higher prices to bargaining between hospitals and countries and tech regulation in the country. A runaway car stopped just in time. Watch this. The SUV slowly leaving the gas pump and going towards the street. The driver had left his wife's car in drive before going into the gas station to pay. Now, luckily, another man nearby, he saw what was happening. As he was driving out, he jumped into the SUV to stop it. And as you can imagine, the owner of the SUV, so grateful for that, but his wife, not exactly happy.
She called me like yelling at me, and she was so upset. And then she called me an idiot, which I was, and all that.
Yeah, just got to run your hands through your hair with that one. Yeah, the driver is certain the SUV would have been hit if the man hadn't stopped. Now, most cars on that street usually going about 45 miles per hour. It could have been really bad. Well, this, though, probably the strangest good deed that we've heard of in a long time. A man in Minnesota nearly running over a squirrel with his car, scared it so much that it passed out. The squirrel. So the driver pulled over and started performing CPR on the squirrel. And guess what? It worked.
He's coming around now.
Yeah, he's good. Put you in for a life-saving award.
There he goes! You saved his life, dude.
That is the weirdest thing I have seen in a long time. Yeah, the squirrel just darts away. Obviously, the animal seemed to be just fine. There was no bleeding. Didn't look like it was hurt otherwise. How about that? All right. Coming up next in our lineup, we're talking about micro brands. Yeah, we're used to buying from big name brands, but thanks to online shopping, we're buying from more micro brands. So what's the difference? We're going to get into all of that. You're watching The Now. Welcome back, and whether you scroll through social media or you're an Amazon Prime user, you've probably seen ads for clothing brands that you have never heard of before. Now, those are called micro brands. And now it's Annie Taylor checking them out to see if they're actually worth trying.
And I hate shopping in malls. I just think they're crowded.
Amber Johnson is not alone. According to CPC Strategy, an e-commerce statistics site, 96% of Americans shop online out of convenience. A popular site is, of course, Amazon.
And so the nice thing about shopping like on Amazon is that, one, I can just be like, okay, I want to find dresses with flowers on it, or I want to find, dresses that have 3/4 length sleeves or anything like that. And so I can find like a wide gamut of things.
Amazon carries micro brands, aka brands you've never heard of.
People are less brand loyal online than they are anywhere else.
Darren Duber-Smith, a marketing professor at MSU Denver, says micro brands can't survive solely on their own.
And so it's very difficult for tiny brands to get any distribution without partnering with a company like Amazon.
As a school teacher, Amber's on a budget, but doesn't want to shop at places like Walmart or Target.
When I shop at like Target, if I buy something there, I'm a teacher, so I'll end up wearing the same clothes my students are wearing, and it's weird for me.
Although Amazon's prices are low, Amber says so is the quality.
Generally, all the things I can buy are under like $18 or so, and so because it's so cheap, the quality is not great. But I'm like, okay, if it lasts me for 6 months, if it lasts me an entire school year, great.
She also notes the sizing is way off.
Typically, I'm around about like a large or so in most stores, sometimes a medium. I'm like buying like XXLs.
Darren says that's exactly why brick and mortar stores won't go completely extinct.
The idea of brick and mortar shopping is being able to actually touch the goods, to be able to feel the goods, to be able to try something on. So I really do believe that there are limitations to buying certain categories of goods on the internet.
You might also see micro brands popping up on your social media feed, but Amber has yet to explore those.
And I feel like by shopping on Amazon, I have a wide range of things for low prices that I can go and do.
For The Now, I'm Annie Taylor.
All right, Annie, thank you. And here's something that might be tough to hear. That bubbly, sparkling water you're probably pairing with that organic salad may not be as natural as you think, because there's a new lawsuit against LaCroix that says that the drink is loaded with artificial ingredients. Now, the lawsuit says the drink contains linalool that's actually used in cockroach insecticide. Now, the woman suing LaCroix says that the company lied because it claims to be 100% natural. Now, LaCroix has denied the allegations. Experts say the lawsuit is a stretch. They say linalool is not as dangerous as we may believe. All right, let's get to the Now News feed. Just a next level tool here for investigators, because researchers say they have a new test that measures the amount of DNA people shed, which really just means that the slightest of touch by a criminal could give investigators all the clues they need to hunt them down. Ben Affleck is out of rehab. The actor had a 40-day stay at a facility over alcohol addiction, did release a statement saying, quote, "Getting help is a sign of courage, not weakness or failure," end quote. All right, well, there is a chance that if you have a rock lying around that it could be worth $100,000. I will tell you this is the slightest of chance, but listen to this story. A 22-pound rock that propped open a door for decades in Michigan, it's worth that much. A man brought it to Central Michigan University. Professors found out that it was actually a meteorite.
Wow, lucky guy. All right, Boca Raton right now. Look at the beautiful blue sky. This is from a WeatherStem site there at FAU Stadium. I'm looking at just a couple of clouds around and looking at a few showers offshore here that may come on shore here from Boynton down to Boca. But for the most part, these will weaken as they move closer to shore. You might get a quick little passing shower here this evening. Same with the Treasure Coast. We're seeing a couple of them up there just offshore of Indian River County. So the forecast for tonight, a very nice evening and that very slim off chance that you may see a shower blowing on in. Temperatures generally into the lower 80s after upper 80s for highs today. Rain chances stay pretty slim the next couple of days all the way through the weekend. Slim rain chances. Sunday will have the greater rain chance than Saturday. And then as we get into next week, we're tracking some tropical moisture as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Rain chances go way up, even a potential there for some heavy rains in our area.
This week, a federal jury found a Martin County deputy violated the local and civil rights.
Saw a terrible accident, and so I did what I think anybody would do. I stopped the help.
James Crocker said he backed off when rescue crews arrived to the deadly rollover crash.
I took out my phone and I took 4 or 5 pictures, and I'd no sooner put my phone back by my side and an officer approached and just literally took my phone from my hand.
That deputy was veteran law enforcement officer Stephen Beatty.
I said to him, "Sir, I didn't realize it was illegal to take pictures." He said, "It's not, but your phone's now evidence of the state. Get in your car and leave." I said, "Sir, I'm happy to leave, but not without my phone." He said, "Turn around, you're under arrest."
Crocker said he was put in the back of a patrol car for more than half an hour.
And turns the AC off.
Then put in jail for several hours.
Over taking a few pictures.
He ended up deleting his pictures at the request of law enforcement, but decided to take legal action to set a precedent.
This kind of behavior is constitutionally impermissible.
Attorney Guy Rubin says this case makes it clear to law enforcement and the public it's your right to record in a public place.
It is a check and balance on law enforcement.
The sheriff's office said in a statement, Deputy Beatty felt that it was reasonable to take possession of the phone which he believed contained graphic images of the crash scene and the deceased. The jury disagreed with Deputy Beatty's assessment of the situation, but determined that no malice existed in his actions.
I'm Megan McRoberts for The Now, South Florida.
All right, take a look at this. The sign is now up for the new Boynton Beach Police Substation. It was just last week that we told you the new location opened up North Seacrest Boulevard, and now you can spot it just a little bit easier. The police department moved in preparation of the Town Square Transformation Project. A Jacksonville gas station owner is making a bizarre request to everyone who goes inside. Don't microwave your pee. Yeah, you see it right there? That's the sign on display for everyone to see at the on-the-fly convenience store. So the gas station's owner says she finally posted the sign after people were coming in nearly every day, she says, to heat up their urine containers. The owner says 2 drug testing facilities are located just a couple blocks away and believes that is the reason for the abnormal microwaving.
All right, well, passing up cars on the road can be extremely dangerous if you're not careful, and this video right here in Australia, a perfect example of that. A Toyota Corolla tried to pass up a camper van at the same time that a minibus was approaching. The Corolla was hit head-on. Surprisingly, no one was seriously hurt. Police do say the driver of that car just simply made a bad decision. Well, this here too close for comfort. Take a look at this video. This plane came pretty close to clipping a high-rise building in Australia. Look at that. It appears that the plane was skimming the water before abruptly soaring upward. The Australian Air Force says it was conducting a pre-planned exercise. Oh, this might be a tough one to hear. We hate to burst your bubble, dog parents, but Fido may be a good boy, but probably not a very smart one. Yeah, don't blame the messenger on this one. That is what one psychologist in the UK is saying. This is why. It turns out that dogs aren't exactly equal in comparison to similar animals when it comes to intelligence. Now, dogs were compared to wolves, which are a close ancestor, of course, and they were also compared to wild dogs and hyenas and some other animals. And part of why dogs just aren't as smart is because humans domesticated them, and that means dogs don't have to work as hard to hunt for food or fight off enemies, so they don't really use those problem-solving skills or have much social intelligence. Now, some of us may think our dog is pretty clever. That's because we're not really interacting with any other animals to compare. So if you're trying to teach Fido some new tricks, experts say be patient and don't expect too much from them. All right, here's a quick check of what we're working on for Monday. I feel like we're going to get some emails about that last story. All right, well, Columbus Day, of course, a federal holiday, and we're going to be talking about the path to citizenship in this country. Real talk about what does it really take to become a U.S. citizen. Do you know? Well, that's Monday here on The Now. But finally in our lineup, we went to the border in El Paso, Texas. And we're talking to the people there about what life is really like there, right along the border. An important topic, of course, as we get close to the midterm elections. You're watching The Now. Let's quickly get you the facts here in the Now news feed. A surprising reason that medical bills are going up. Coverage from out-of-network care is going down. That's according to the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. More people getting surprise bills because they get treatment outside their network without them knowing. MMA star Conor McGregor back in the octagon tomorrow night. Now, he was the guy charged for throwing a chair through a bus glass window back in April. Well, things looking up for him because the fight could earn him around $100 million. Well, think of this like Game of Thrones in real life. An 8-year-old girl finding a pre-Viking era sword in a lake in Sweden. It's believed to be around 1,500 years old. Locals there now calling her the Queen of Sweden. Well, immigration is a big topic really in every part of the country, but we wanted to know what life is like when you live right on the border. So we went to El Paso, Texas to talk with those who have it right in their backyard. So this is the one that's going to be replaced?
This is the fence that's going to be replaced. This has been in place for quite a while. The idea that the government has told us is that it's a replacement fence. It's not a new fence. And they're actually calling it a wall.
Marisa Limon has lived near the border for most of her life.
Just to be able to have a binational identity in a bicultural world where you have family a lot of times on both sides. And so in many ways it's beautiful. It's a true asset. The challenges come in when it's also a highly regulated, government-enforced space that is your home.
What's that like?
I kind of liken it to a little bit of an occupied territory, a militarized zone.
She now works for the Hope Border Institute, a social justice nonprofit that works with people on both sides. What do other parts of the country not understand when it comes to the border and the people who live by it?
The idea that I don't think they understand, or it's more difficult to grasp, is the true proximity. Kind of like any other state line or a barrier from here to there, it's a neighborhood. These are friends and families and people that we are close with, businesses. I have ties on both sides. It's literally in someone's backyard. So it's very much a direct proximity, and you can't be in one without the other.
With illegal immigration getting so much attention, she calls for people to think about the challenges those on the other side face.
To get here is very difficult, and when you're leaving, a lot of times you have people who are seeking asylum, not just trying to have a better life in terms of financial means, but really just trying to leave for the safety of themselves and their family after someone has been killed or after gangs have been harassing them. And I think many people, if they would put themselves in that position and about the care and love they have for their family, might empathize a little more and try to understand, like, okay, maybe this person is fleeing something that's really difficult.
And that'll do it for us today here on The Now. I'm Chris Stewart. I will see you Sunday for the race. Have a great weekend.